this could either be the stupidest thing you've heard all week, or it could just click for you like it did for me. So my perception of conventional advice to just lock in is this idea that you just lock yourself in a room, figure out what to do on the internet, and just do one thing for as long as it takes until it works. So, I still agree with some form of that advice, but I think the part that really stops me and a lot of other people that I know is this phase of analysis paralysis, where you start researching everything and you try to understand the best techniques, the best methods, and you never end up actually doing the action that will actually get you the results that you're looking for. And it might feel productive because you're learning and gaining knowledge and figuring out best practices, but you're never really implementing them in the actual work that you're doing. So I just thought of this metaphor. If you'll visualize this with me and just imagine you're locked inside a library, right? This is my perception of conventional advice to just lock in is you're trapped inside a library, or rather you lock yourself inside a library with books all around. You have everything you ever need to figure out, whatever the goal is, how to start a business. You have books from best-selling authors and famous entrepreneurs, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever. You have all their autobiographies and how they did it surrounding you. All you have to do is sit there and read the book, right? And you'll gain that knowledge transfer. I think an alternate solution to locking in is actually to be locked out of this library, right? So let's think about it in a different way. Instead, you're locked outside of this library, you're trying to get in. That's essentially the end goal, is to get into this library. And instead of you being inside there and having all the resources around you, which is essentially, in this metaphor, the wealth of information that is the internet, you have no clue what to do. You're just trapped outside of this library and trying to get in. And I think this analogy is akin to you just going out there, just doing things, seeing if they work, trying, failing, right? Like you try the front door, obviously it's locked. So maybe next you try a window, right? Maybe you try the back door. Maybe you try knocking on a window to see if anybody's in there and then trying to flag their attention down. Maybe you figure out who the janitor is and you see someone leaving, so you try to pop open the door while they're leaving. So it's like you just have to become creative and come up with the way to actually get in or achieve what you're trying to do without the infinite knowledge of this library and all the resources, or figuring out what to do on the internet. Because that you actually trying to break into the window, trying the back door, trying the front door, banging it down, or trying to pickpocket the lock, right? Doing all these different things will teach you so much more than you would really learn in the books, just because you're doing them, right? Maybe another analogy could be figuring out how to shoot a basketball, right? If you watch every single video on YouTube of how to shoot the basketball perfectly, all the right techniques, how to follow through, how to have your arm, the correct arm angle, which fingers to end to shoot the ball with, right? Whether it be your pinky or ring finger, or your middle finger and your pointer finger, or if you thumb push, right? Like if you just learn the mechanics of how to shoot a perfect basketball shot, sure, that might help you when you actually do end up going to do it. But if you have never shot a basketball in your life, and all you do to improve your shooting technique is watching videos online, the next time you show up at a basketball court, your jumper is still going to be broken. So obviously there's like a blend and a mix here between doing the action, shooting the basketball, and then also learning about how to improve it. Because if you just go out there, shoot a basketball your very first time in your life, it's probably going to look bad. And if you never try to improve how you do that, obviously it's going to take forever, or it's just not going to really go in your favor. And there's another, like, there's a middle path to this, which is obviously like coaching, right? If you get a basketball coach, somebody who you want your jump shot to look like theirs, they are going to be the best person to be able to explain how you can make the changes in your own shot form in order to make it look like theirs and replicate theirs. And through that direct knowledge source, you effectively shortcut all the in between of, hey, I read this book, I watched this video, let me try to piece it all together myself, and I don't even know if what I'm doing is right or not, because this is my second time shooting a basketball now. If you have a coach of somebody who's done it before, that they can, with their experience, they can mentor you towards correcting your shot and making it the best that it can be. So, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but the idea of locking in might be, or the real way to lock in might actually be to lock yourself out, especially if you've been just consuming not like information and knowledge and doing so much research that you haven't even taken the first step. Like, all of that information is just not going to help you out or really get you anywhere if you never actually apply it in your own life. And that's why action is so powerful, and why that realization that action is really the only thing that's going to get you where you need to go it's like, yeah, like that seems pretty straightforward and it seems so elementary, but the amount of times that I actually take the action, or the amount of times that I know other people who they know what they need to do, but they just never do so, it's very astounding. And I guess another metaphor for you is kind of on the same sports wave. This is kind of how I came up with this idea originally. Was I was going for a run, and after mile 4, I was just disconnecting my head from my body and just letting my feet go one foot in front of the other. And that is so parallel and analogous to this idea that to lock in and achieve this destination, achieve this goal, you actually have to lock out and just disconnect your head, turn off your brain, because that's the thing that's holding you back, right? You know how to run a marathon, and technically anybody could run a marathon. You know the steps. All you have to do is put one foot in front of the other for 26.2 miles, right? Obviously that's easier said than done, but those are the actions that it takes. You don't necessarily need the nicest running shoes, $300 running shoes, in order to run a marathon. You don't need, the shades and the special hat or the running vest that carries water for you. Like, you don't need any of that. Obviously, the extra tools and equipment will help you and aid you in achieving that goal. And maybe it might help you do it in a more efficient manner. Maybe it'll help you get there faster. But if you just have if you bought a running vest with that for water, if you bought the nicest shoes, if you had all the best gear, and you never even went for your first run, the person who's just taking steps is going to outpace you by a mile, many miles, but they'll probably finish the whole marathon if you don't ever get out there and actually run. So yeah, that's basically the analogy that I'm trying to get across here, is locking in can be achieved by just locking out. And whether that be turning off your brain or just doing repetitive action and iterating on that and being creative, right? Trying to break in this library a million different ways, trying the roof escape, climb up the side of the building, try the second story window, right? Like, if you just don't have anything to do and you just start trying stuff, which is the metaphor here is just by taking action, I think you'll surprise yourself and learn so much more, right? Like, by the time you break into that library, you might have found out that the answers that you find inside the library are not as meaningful to you or not as helpful as you just learning how to break into the library. So I was trying to make my smoothie during this video because I'm making this after my run. But yeah, I kind of got carried away there, and that's really the essence of locking out. That's the message that I'm taking away, because for so long I have been doing this research and trying to figure out what the perfect techniques or the perfect methods are to do the things that I want to do, but all of that will be rendered useless if I never actually do the action. So right now I'm trying to just get the shots up, take the steps, rather than buying all the gear or watching all the videos to improve my shot form. So this is one of the day ones. I've had many day ones, but this is me starting to commit to action. You already know what to do, right? You know all the steps. Like, you know how to run a marathon. All you have to do is keep putting your feet in front of the other until you get to 26.2 miles. You know what you need to do. Now all that's left is taking the action and actually locking in by locking out. Hopefully that was helpful. Who knows? This might have just been a revelation only for me, but if this could help somebody out, you never know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.